Back in 2007, I set up hosting for the late Pat Rogers of EAG Tactical. I was going to have him come by, I want to say it was the following May. So this was May 2008 to teach his combat carbine course. Before going to that course, though, I needed to have a suitable rifle. And with his help, he got me in touch with Paul Buffoni of Bravo Company. And at the time, Bravo Company was, it was the choice. So essentially then you had the Colt 6920s, and then Bravo Company was quickly taking up a lot of sales space because they were producing and still are producing high quality guns. They're available and the pricing was very competitive. And Pat had a great relationship with the company. He ran a lot of Bravo Company rifles, and they all just plain ran. They had excellent quality control, still have excellent quality control. And so I wound up talking to Pat to figure out, okay, this is kind of what I'm thinking of. What's your input on this? And I wasn't sure exactly on the barrel length. And at the time, like a 10.3 or 10.5, or maybe 11.5, a 14.5. Pat suggested go for 11.5. It's going to be a little softer shooting. The life of the barrel is going to last a little longer. And at that time, if I recall correctly, Bravo Company had just introduced a brand new cold, what was it? Something cold forged barrel. Yeah, it's escaping me. I'm old. So in talking to Paul, I was put on the list to receive one of these, and it showed up. And so it was basically, I got that. I also got a Gemtech G5 can, the old school Surefire OTAL A laser. Let's see here. Aimpoint M4S. Eventually, though, there were multiple changes. So there used to be a pressure pad here, which I got rid of. I found that I had too many light negligent discharges. So I was a bigger fan. I switched to everything's going to now be button press. Hey, the battery's still working this. And I did throw this back on, the OTAL, the laser I threw back on, and the light I threw back on just specifically for this video. But at the time when I was getting this, I wasn't going for a vibe. I was going for what worked. And at the time, this is a LaRue handguard that came stock with the upper. This was it. The phrase was, if LaRue was an option, LaRue is the answer. So again, not looking for a vibe. I want functionality, and that's how I still am. I want functionality. I've since gone away from pick rails, at least on the handguards. I'm a big fan of M-Lock, but that doesn't mean that this is obsolete. This still absolutely has a use. This still functions great. The Aimpoint has been fantastic. This specific PMag Gen 2, I can tell you for a fact this was one of the mags that I ran in the class. I have a ton of them, so several have since died, but they keep on running and they're great. And unless you have massive breakage, the feed lips are going to stay intact. And this is 02 of my mags has been outstanding. Now, yeah, there have been different changes of adding things, removing things, changing just the basic grips. I don't remember if this was the first stock I had on it, Magpul. The law folder was absolutely fantastic when it came to any type of travel. Throwing it in a smaller gun case made life a lot easier and just easier to transport. Back in the day also, because I'm running the suppressed, I did the trick of putting the gas seal on the top of the charging handle. So if I remember correctly, this might have been an early, who made this? I think this was an early Bravo Company charging handle. And essentially what I did was with a larger latch, because back then we're talking, most everyone's still running the factory or the standard tiny little charging handles, where this is just unheard of. And also this got you had to get used to it because this was snag on things. So you had to be aware of it, especially if you're wearing a plate carrier or chest rig or something. But adding this little gasket stopped a lot of the gas from coming back in your face. This also was the time when Troy irons, they were it. That was what you had. This was the standard for the for everyone, getting Troy irons. What else? What else? This also had an evolution with going from completely flat to a vertical grip to a shorty vertical grip to ultimately to just more of a hand stop. The reason being for me was that evolution occurred just through shooting a lot and figuring out, okay, I'm not a big fan of the vertical grip because what it basically does, it kind of introduced a little bit of wobble, especially moving and shooting, because I have so much more weight on the top. I'm not quite as strong doing it, holding it this way, as opposed to holding the handguard like this, where this is providing me a lot more stability. So I went from full vertical grip to a stubby, and then I went to just a little hand stop. Now I don't even use them that much. They're still nice to have as an index, but for the most part, I kind of gone away from them. Ultimately, what the hand stop does, though, is it does help with controlling the gun and driving the gun. But most importantly, for me, it provides an index point for my controls, so I know my hand's in the right place and I can reach everything comfortably. This system, this gun has been an absolute workhorse, absolutely fantastic. There have been things that I've changed to it. I never put an ambi selector on it. Didn't feel the need. I do have, oh, I know what's going on. Okay. I do have a couple little add-ons, various things that I've tried out, but ultimately with where this was in its original configuration, it worked just fine. It still works just fine. And obviously, I don't know if you can tell, but this has been through a lot of paint jobs and essentially using Pat Rogers' method of painting. The more layers you put on that initial layer, some wear happens, scratches occur. You throw on another layer and it just looks good. It's effective. No complaints. Yeah, it's funny looking where some of these paint voids are to kind of show you how things used to be. But that's all. Yeah, this was a BCM. I bought the lower and the upper completely separate. Jumped through the hoops to get everything put together, and it has been a absolutely great rifle. But again, it's not about a vibe. It's about effectiveness. It's about having something that works. So that's all.